Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Swemp Electronics Football Alliance Division 2. I'm here tonight with Quinton Fortuna. Good evening, Quinton.
Good evening, Mr. Megahorse.
How are you doing today?
Yeah, good, thank you. How about yourself?
Ready for another exciting round. Mike Savage is here on the chat, the Ortiz manager, absolutely desperate to get his team going again after their wonderful result the other day.
Fantastic. A very impressive debut, wasn't it?
Yeah, almost beating the league leaders. But for that, 905th minute equaliser or something like that. It was a great match to begin for them, wasn't it?
Yeah, really good effort. Blues have been almost unstoppable so far in the league, so to get that result was an excellent start. So hopefully more of the same tonight.
Yes, they're not playing me, so that's absolutely fine. We'll take a look at that league table then. So the Blues have a 1-point cushion over Dalgety Rangers and the Trunton Vice squad. Two teams have really been consistent over the course of the season. Atletico Newell's just 4 points further back. They started off with an absolute bang and probably taking close to 20 shots per game. Just sort of faded out a little bit at the moment, but still looking like they're good enough for a top 4 place, I think. Really challenging. Roundhay just behind, and Jim Phillips with that constant feeling that he's going to be sacked because his board inexplicably cannot stand him. And a bit further on the table, we go into Los Aracas, Stackington Colliery, and Rugby FC, and 76ers all within 3 points of each other. Then Grove, Imperials sitting there on their own. Big Noopy is in the chat today, even using for a quick look. He can't hang around too long because he's at work at 5 a.m. Maybe we should play his game first tonight. Let him do that. And in the relegation zone, that doesn't count because nobody gets relegated. We've got the OTs who've taken 6 points in their last 4 games potentially, and then 7 points, and Danglies and Gondor there at the bottom. I'll look into today's fixtures then, and I mean a lot of it is top half versus bottom half. But which games is attracting your attention the most?
Well, I think one for the neutrals really is probably Grove versus Ortiz. Ortiz, as we said, had a new lease of life in the last round, but there's a bit of a gap, isn't there, between the two at the minute? If Ortiz get a result tonight, it brings Grove into it, and likewise the other way. If Grove get a victory, it makes that gap even bigger down the bottom, keeps the bottom 3 down there. So that'll be an interesting one.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I think in terms of that, Ortiz could really close that gap. And then we do obviously have Roundhay versus Blues could be massive if Roundhay want to continue their season on a positive trajectory and to appease that board.
Yeah, there's some interesting other fixtures too. There's quite a gap between the rest of them, isn't there? So it's just chance for the table to concertina up a bit if the lower down teams could get some results. But I don't know. I'll have to see the lineups before I make any predictions, I think.
Well, let's get into those first games, and as I said, we'll put on the Athletic game first, and it magically appears as our first match. Wonderful. It'll be a ghost game now, won't it? But we shall see. So, Athletic go into it on their last game, drawing 1-1 with Los Aracas. It wasn't the most interesting game, I could say, but it wasn't famed for the a million tackles of Walter Samuel, was that right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 16 out of 17. Wasn't a bad performance, was it?
Excellent for him. And I think if we look at previous meetings, there haven't been previous meetings. This is the final round of the season where they're meeting for the first time. Whereas Division 1 have already gone into there playing everyone twice. This division is a little bit out of order in how it's doing its fixtures. And for Atleti today, they've brought Michael Hughes back in to the delight of the fans. And this is a formation you know all too well.
Yeah, I like this formation. I think it's a good setup. It'll be interesting to see Hughes in that central attacking midfield zone. Yeah, I like the lineup. It's good to see Veron in a centre mid performance as well because he can hold the midfield by himself. It's interesting now they've had a bit of a shake up and Sigalko and Collins are both out of the squad tonight, so it just shows the depth of the squad they've got, and hopefully they'll start to pick up the shot count again.
Yes, and we can see that Delivio down to the bench today. He's played quite a few times this season, really, hasn't he? Almost every game. Silvestre is called in instead, who obviously is a talented player himself. They Big Noopy there saying that a boring game forced himself into a more attacking formation for tonight. So let's see if he can deliver that promise. The 76ers, who last time out went for a team without playing Takanadi as that defensive mid who runs backwards, were successful in Takanadi scoring the winner.
Yeah, it worked well, didn't it? The switching tactics there. It's a good result against Round here. So they'll be hoping for more of the same tonight. It'll be interesting to see how the two teams get on. Again, we've got the three attacking mids and one forward, so it's similar at both ends. It's just that slight different setup in midfield to have two in the central position with Takanadi running back rather than one sat in DM.
It's got some striking similarities, really. I suppose if you think that Takanadi off the ball will go into there, it pretty much is two matching formations. The 4-4 tuner, as it was referred to, your formation in the past. So we'll go into this one. Any predictions?
Yeah, I'm going to say 2-1 Atleti. I think just on the quality of the lineup. I'm taking Riquelme and comparing him directly to Michael Hughes for the opposition, and Michael Hughes will just have to edge it.
Yes, yeah, fully agree in that Michael Hughes is player of the season. In if you take away all the other players, he's doing very well. So we'll get this one underway. The speeds are all good, and from the graveyard, we're already seeing that both teams looking going forward. And there's Del Piero called in up front rather than what's his name, Kesman today, and he scored the opening goal.
Yeah, my predictions have been wrong all season, so not surprised to see that going as soon as I predict an Athletic victory.
No, no, and I think that this league is starting to be shaken up a little bit. 76ers look like they are playing much better than their opponents at this point. But we know anything can happen, and as Murray Walker would say, it usually does. There's Takanadi with his second goal in 2 games from this position that's working an absolute treat. And Ronaldinho pulls one back just before half time. Can they make it 3 though? No, they can't. 2-1 at half time. Well, yep, it is not a boring game, Big Nerd people. Your team is behind.
Yeah, it's starting to liven up a bit, isn't it? We see the 76ers are outperforming in the stats, and I think they've got 6 players on an 8 rating, which just shows what a good first half performance it's been. But
Yeah.
Atleti did come back into it at the end of the half, so it's all to play for still.
Well, there we have loving the format mega horse Daniel McGill. It took so long to jump on. Could be a manager from our league there with a secret name. I don't know. Dan Hazard, maybe. I'm not sure. uh, we shall see. Um, on to the games in here. Looking at the half-time stats, and yes, both teams have been 2/3 of their shots on target, and both teams scoring half of those shots on on target that they've taken. So yeah, Big Nippy says struggling away from power box lane, looking for a better second half. Taking a look at those goals that were scored. So Del Piero getting onto the end of Rui Costa's ball in fantastic work there, and then it took a little bit of a while. Barthez and Rui Costa's been heavily involved, hasn't he, with these goals?
Yeah, he's a good player, Rui Costa, isn't he? He's having an excellent performance so far today, by the looks of it.
And Said has managed to play in Ronaldinho, who looks like he's done some good work to get around Cafu and smash that one in. Great work for him. 76ers, yeah, as you said, with their, what is it, 6 players on 8s. That is outstanding for the first half.
Yeah, it's one of the best first halves we've seen for quite some time, I think, by a team in an even match. We've seen some good performances where it's a bit one-sided, but yeah, it's a real good half. So just shows why they're in front, doesn't it?
And Van Nistelrooy, or Nistelhorst, I think, as Big Noopy described him, seems to have given up. Steve Wright's here in the chat, ready for seeing the Film Singer team a bit later on. Yeah, not a whole lot going on for Atleti. Ronaldinho certainly giving them a bit of hope into this second half, I would say. So we shall see what happens in the second half. Just going to check, see if any teams need any substitutes. Okay. It looks like the 76ers are fine, and it also looks like Atletico New Mills are also fine. So we'll kick off the second half. And not a lot going on in the beginning of here. Oh, Michael Hughes. Oh, chance there. Tato Mourinho's in the chat as well. It's starting to build up a little bit today. And we can see at 60 minutes, there's the need for changes. And I'm just referring to the tactics that I have been sent. So, Sigal Kofidelpia, if he's not scored, but he has. And Nikiforenko for the lowest rated attacking midfielder. Let's check the ratings first of all. We have Riquelme on a 7, Nedved on a 6. Yes, he'll be coming off here. He'll definitely be coming off. And he'll be coming off for Nikiforenko as planned there. Sorted for them. And for Atleti, let's go into their substitutes. And yes, I would say, well, we'll look into what we've got here. So the first change on Pouring, if he hasn't scored by 60 minutes, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer coming on. Here he comes for Van Nistelrooy, who's been ineffective. And the other substitutes here, if required, under 82% fitness, well, we definitely do need to remove Elmander. And Big Noopy, are you looking to replace anyone specifically for Elmander? Are you looking to bring anyone specific on? Or would we be bringing on Barry Ferguson and pushing Veron further forward? I mean, what do you think, Quinton, about that one?
Say that again, sorry, didn't catch that.
That's all right. It was just I'm just asking Big Noopy what he thinks about taking off Elmander, because he is taking off Elmander, but I think this could be Barry Ferguson with
Run
Veron
into
further
attacking
forward.
mid.
Yeah, Veron.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
lovely.
think that's the best way forward. Sorry, just a few connection problems then.
That's okay, no problems. Well, obviously there were. And Michael Hughes, 81. Looking at this big kid's here for the Trumpton Vice squad. He's popped in for a bit to say hi before sleep. Big kid, we'll play your game next, and we'll play your game. If you go to bed, you can play against me next. And yeah, I know we've got under 82% fitness. Just to check, Big Nibby, do you want to leave Michael Hughes on 81 before we go into this? If you're happy to leave him on, we'll get cracking on with the game. Leave Hughes on. There we go. Superb. See, it works, this live stuff. Back on with the show. And it was a pretty dull start to the second half, it's got to be said. The game was much better in the first half. Rui Costa's had another chance, though, for Atleti. And then we hit the grey. And Rui Costa again playing in Del Piero. I think this is a man of the match kind of performance in my view, but I don't think he's going to get it. and a chance potentially. Ronaldinho's put that one just wide. He could have finished that one off. He could have equalised. And with just a few minutes to go, we are now heading to it with one last chance. Maybe Nikiforenko's missed and then down the other end of the pitch, but no, it is a 2-1 win. And here we are. Well, Del Piero takes the man of the match, but Rui Costa did get a 9. And there were plenty of 8s on show for both teams.
Yeah, it was a decent second half in the end. It did start off a bit slowly, didn't it, at the start of the second half? But I think 76 is a good value for the win. I did predict a 2-1 the other way, but on that performance from 76 is that they definitely deserved it, just edged it really in terms of the game. So yeah, a fair result overall.
Back to the drawing board, says Big Noopy. I don't think it's a disappointing performance. I think that they are looking reasonably good still, despite being beaten. The chat's really flowing tonight. Plenty of intrinsic chats and concept squads and all that sort of thing. But yeah, looking at the 76ers, then yeah, Del Piero. Well, he does seem to have edged it a little bit, doesn't he, in terms of his man of the match performance?
Yeah, he's got involved plenty, hasn't he, with headers, shots on goal. He's scored, passed it a fair bit, key passes. Yeah, he's done well. But Rui Costa had a lot of the ball, potentially done a couple more dribbles, maybe got an assist. But yeah, I suppose Del Piero on the score sheet, and it's that tactical switch, hasn't it? Putting Del Piero in and having Takanadi in centre mid that's made the difference last couple of
Takanadi
games.
scoring the goals from that position, yeah, and a great centre back pair in there of Nestor and Cannavaro, putting in 19 successful tackles between them. It has stopped that threat, especially the Van Nistelrooy threat that just was pointless.
Yeah, I mean, there's some decent performances for the opposition too. I mean, Ibrahim Said's got 6 out of 6 tackles. Ferdinand's managed 6 out of 9 in defence as well. So they've had a fair decent performance in their own defence as well. Just got betted on early on, didn't they? Went 2-0 down, and the game was fairly comfortable after that.
Yeah, still a decent performance and plenty to think about for the teams. We are going to move to the Trumps and Vice squad match as Big Kid is he's got a lot on at the moment and he needs to have his game before he goes to bed. So this time round, we can see that they've named an interesting side. Big Kid, if you're still here, can you choose your captain? Because I know your original captain was going to be Nesta, who's suspended. Tell us what you think then, Quinton, about this setup here.
Yeah, well, I like it. I like the formations that we see from Trumpton. It's unusual. I mean, Mike has hit the nail on the head with the old WT fuck is that. It's all over the place, isn't it? I mean, Robin cutting in from the right to the left is really taking it to one extreme, isn't he?
Yeah,
I,
he
I,
will
I'm,
end up
I,
in his natural position, I guess.
It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I've never seen anything like it. So yeah, fair play. What a great idea.
Steve thinks this is wonderful. I think he's naming his favourite band there, Sweet Baby Jesus and the Orphans. Looking forward to hearing their new single that comes out. Tato Marino is a big fan of this, and yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting because when Stackington come forward, as they will do hundreds of times during this match, they are going to be stopped from the off with by the 3 most forward players going forward. Tato going for a 3-0 win already without seeing the Stackington side, but yeah, I mean, it's the Stackington side. So yeah, Nesta suspended. If Big Kid is here, then we will pick a captain. I don't think he is, maybe, so we are just going into the game anyway and playing it. We shall see if he gets back to us before the game. Verona's being picked as captain. Then for Stackington, some small changes. There's nothing to remove. It's horse. So the team Said moves into a defensive midfield position in a switch with Milevski, and he will do his giant run up the pitch. And it was before seeing that formation, and I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing to have that, to be honest. So yeah, Quinton, talk us through your thoughts on Stackington's side.
Yeah, I prefer Milevski at centre back. So switching out from defensive mid, particularly bombing forward for Said, I think it's going to be a wise move. I like the team you've got there, and Paulo Sergio's capable on his day, isn't he? But I mean, I'd try a Gat in that centre midfield role if all's not working. He got, I think, 33 goals for me at Celtic in a season, which was pretty impressive. He's not really doing the business out wide for you so far this season, but I mean, it's a good team you've got, but you've been absolutely battered in a couple of games, including your last one. And with the Trumpton formation, I dare say your players might be a bit perplexed. So anything could happen in this game. I think I'm going to go for 4-2 Trumpton.
Fair enough. Big Noopy, good night. Thank you for being on today. No worries about being bumped up the show. 4-2. 4-2. Well, at least our score. Yeah, I mean, this game hasn't been played earlier this season, we know that, but the results happening in the second half of the season so far are echoing that first half with some heavy defeats early on, which hopefully will get turned around when they get a better run of fixtures. So, Trumpton, not in their kit. We haven't seen this one much at all, have we, this season?
No, I like that colour
Yeah,
combo
it's
though. I
nice.
mean, I like your purple, but Trumpton's yeah, it's nice little baby blue.
I think this is a lovely combination of kits here. We could spend hours talking about the kits. But let's kick off the match instead. And Trumpton coming forward immediately with a chance. And it seems very sort of end to end without much going on. Taribo West has been booked for Trumpton already, which is not the best sign for them, I suppose. But Milevski's now taking a yellow card for Stackington in the first 15 minutes. And the teams are stopping each other, not necessarily in the fairest means. And Bergkamp has missed his own rebound. Not the best one. Van Nistelrooy with a chance for Stackington. 25 minutes in, and Nicky Franco couldn't miss, but he did. And then back down the other end, David Collins with a chance, and then Said Van Nistelrooy, and there's Paulo Sergio. A rare goal for Paulo Sergio this season. 1-0. Coming in towards half time, and Van Nistelrooy made it 2-0. So there's a 2. We haven't seen the 4 from Trumpton just yet. And at half time, which is a very long 50-minute first half, almost the entire Stackington side are performing better than the Trumpton one, barring Wilfred Balmer.
Yeah, well, another 5 on 8 or above for Stackington, but Western Collins are having a bit of a nightmare, isn't it? It's almost like they've not got a clue on where they're meant to be running or what they're meant to be doing. It's a bit of a worry that when Taribo West does have a disciplinary slip in him, doesn't he? So to have a 5 and a booking at half time is he really needs to pick himself up for the second half if he manages to stay on the pitch. But yeah, I mean, I was singing Paulo Sergio's praises, saying how good he was in attacking mid before the game, and saying he definitely shouldn't be swapped for a Gat. So it's good to see him get on the score sheet.
And that's exactly what you need to do. You just need to talk down all the players that we want to do bad jobs and talk up all the good ones. That's what you need. So 7 shots, 6 on target. Andrew Richards is here tonight, saying that Fortesh would wet himself in this league. Oh, lovely. Yeah.
It's because of his age, isn't it? He's incontinent, so he
Yeah.
probably wouldn't be able to make it.
Incontinent and incompetent, but then again, he's scored a couple of goals this season. Yeah, pretty dominant in terms of shots on target, but I feel the game is a little bit more even than that. And there, we do see that it is close enough. Steve Wright's in a superb half from Stackington. It's a shame it's not a superb match from Stackington. Taking a look at the goals, then we have to go a little bit into the half, don't we? Of course. Saeed has come forward, played in Van Nistelrooy, who's found some space and had a shot, and then put in his own. He got free and played in Paulo Sergio without necessarily passing it to him. And then the other one, Agat's corner, and Van Nistelrooy's put that one in. Agat does have a few assists this season. He's doing a reasonable job. I think it's his 6th assist of the season. In terms of Stackington, no massive. I mean, Ibrahim Saeed, that run is working a treat for him today.
Yeah, he's doing a grand job, isn't he? I think the unsurprise is he's not really had any shots. His best work's been 4 out of 4 tackles defensively. So whether he's just going up and they're attacking headers, I don't know. But he's good half for him so far.
3 key passes for those people who love key passes. Big Kid's made a choice for his substitute already. He's going to be taking off David Collins. Of course, Weston Collins reminded me of some kind of solicitors, I think. But we're going to lose Collins for Sigalko. and the arrow is off. So Sigalko, a much more attacking thing. Big Kid, if you do want to make another change, you have a little bit of time, just give us a yes or no, and we'll just dissect that side a little more about how Taribo West has fallen apart. No tackles put in, yet he's taken a yellow card. So fouls must just not count on the tackles count at all.
Yeah, possibly either that or he slid in with his head, hasn't he? And done it
And
that
lost the
way.
header.
It could be a handball. I don't know. I didn't see how he picked up that yellow card. But yeah, he might well have just tripped him with his head. You know what he's like, Taribo.
Knocked
Tripped
to the
over his hair.
floor by West. Yeah, headbutted. That would probably be it. Yes. Sorry, I've just gone back to the thingy side. I think that there'll be a no more subs at half time, I'd imagine, for these. So we'll get started in the second half and push on. Just check that Stuckington don't need to make any subs. No, all is well so far. And immediately, we do have a call for West off for side on this one. I will do it now just because it was a bit later on there, so I will do it now. We did get a second half started, but I'll do it immediately there. West off for side.
I think there'll be some bad language from Big Kid there as well, from being late to the booking.
We are on with the rest of this there. Bad language that got in, but yeah, maybe it was indeed. And a chance for Stackington didn't happen. Oh, Nikiforenko makes it 3-0. And this was unexpected, I think. Tato did say 0-3, not 3-0. And let's take a little look and see if any substitutes need to be made at this point. I don't think it was a shocking substitute. I think it was a good sub for me anyway. So, ratings and things. I think I don't want to make too much of a change going forward, to be honest. Do I make any?
Are you going to leave Milevsky on with his booking?
At 3-0, maybe that would be the one change that would be the best change to make. But it would be the result of losing Saeed from the defensive mid position.
Could stick Song in there, couldn't you? He likes to run.
Let's do this with Selness and get Selness on the pitch for Milevsky and push him into that run. And let's give Javon a run out for Van Nistelrooy, who has scored, but let's give him a run out because he's not played very well this season. This could backfire, but surely not a 3-0.
Well, Andrew Richards has said your team's won, so it's game over, isn't
it's
it?
It's fact. Yeah, it's
what the fans are saying.
Thanks, Wolfie. Thank you. So, Big Kid, we'll have a look and see your team at the moment. If you do have plans for a third sub, we'll see. What would you do, Quinton?
I think I'd look to get my runs towards the centre of the pitch if I was doing anything really in terms of the attacking side of things. Maybe take that backwards run off Henri just to push people further up the pitch. But personnel wise, there's not really an awful lot you can do to get back into it. Really, I don't think. Maybe Vieira for Rosicki. I'd make that risky third sub at this point because the game is potentially over and you need to do something a bit drastic to get into it.
Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? You think you've got to take that risk, but then you know that 3 minutes later your goalkeeper's going to come off injured and sent off at the same time, and it's all about the gamble. I mean,
the game's done if not anyway, isn't it? So it's worth a try. I did like the formation, worth a go. It's not worked out so far. So is there going to be any change to it?
In a way, I'm kind of glad that it's happening against Stackington. So I just wait for a confirmation from Big Kid of yes or no and get started. I will wait this time. It might take us a couple. It might be on a bit of a delay. It might be a minute or two behind on the show potentially. We have had people in other streams watching, I think, 47 minutes behind and not realising. So that's been always quite fun to have a look at that. And yeah, I mean, Rosicki, just to have a look just quickly while we look at things here, Rosicki is carrying a potential knee injury. and Robin isn't. So with Rosicky in mind, I mean, he could come off. Bergkamp off for Vieira and remove the run for Henri. So Bergkamp off for Vieira and remove the run from Henri. Okay, there we go then. 3-0, kicking off. So we've had 5 substitutes made. Will it make any difference to the sides as we head into the final 20 minutes? There is a goal. Patrick Vieira makes it 3-1 already. Remove the run from Veron. I will do that for the last few minutes because I think he is just watching on a delay. So it's a lot longer than other ones here. So I'll take that run off from Veron. But it's definitely a longer delay than other people on there, I think. Yavin has put one just off target. He needs a goal to bring his season onto track, really. He's not doing how he's doing for other teams. It's been a lot more Stackington in his last few minutes. But there's Vieira with a chance again for Trumpton. And he's got another yellow card for Okoronkwo. And there's Sigalko gets one back in the last couple of minutes. And at 3, look at the substitutes there. It's worked a treat, hasn't it, for Trumpton?
Yeah, done a good job. Vieira, man of the match, coming on for that last 28 minutes. So an impressive performance from him, and likewise Sigalko. I think Trumpton will be cursing themselves for not putting them two on from the start. It always happens, doesn't it, when you make subs and they perform well. But if you look at Stackington's team, I mean the keeper didn't do an awful lot wrong. Then you've got 9s, then 8s all the way through to the last 2 in terms of the outfield who started. So yeah, real good performance from Stackington in that game.
Didier Gap with a solid performance. Take a look at the stats. I mean, 10 shots on target is decent outcome, really, isn't it? And Trumpton managed to get 4 of theirs on target in the second half. That was both teams had 4 shots on target in the second half.
Yeah, they came right back into it after the last subs in there, but game was over. It'd been declared on it at 60 minutes, so nervy last couple of minutes after that last goal, but good performance from Stackington to rise up the table. It'd be interesting to see where Trumpton end up after tonight's fixtures.
Clung on Swemp. Yeah. I mean, yeah, if that goal had happened 5 minutes earlier, it would have been a really nervy ending to that game, wouldn't it? Not as comprehensive as I thought, but Stackington deserved it. I mean, yeah, some of these formation experiments work really, really well for Trumpton, and to be honest, it works much more than it doesn't work. And the last 2 matches, I don't think Big Kid has been as confident with his choices, but it's worth the experiment, and it was certainly worth it today to let me win. So we had a goal early in this, well, reasonably early in the second half, that Saeed's been involved again, and Paulo Sergio's played Nicky Franco. But then this is where the comeback started, and the half hour of Patrick Vieira got himself man of the match. So we have here that Veron's thrown it in, and Agahauer crosses it in, and Vieira's put that one in. So nice. Lots of ins from me there. And right at the end of the game, then a corner from Veron, headed by Sigalko, lovely, and some plenty of respect going to Big Kid in here for not playing all of his OP players constantly, and I think that makes sense. Seeing some respect to him, that he's making lots of changes to what he does, and it's great to see in this league. It's a real concept, this formation.
Yeah, I like to see the experiments in having the different players in, having the different formations. It's interesting to see when people go to switch things up rather than just playing a standard one and keeping it the same if things aren't working. So yeah, fair play. And likewise, Stackington have changed their formation, haven't they, from the start? So
It's kind of necessary. The 4-4-2 kind of thing just did not work. Yeah, it works on playing against a computer, and it works sometimes playing against some humans, but not most of them.
well, yeah, there's quite a lot of humans you probably untested it against, I suppose.
Yeah. So Dan Hazell will be removing his Newcastle protocol as ASAP. Dan, you're self-imposing that, so you can remove it whenever you'd like. But we shall see going into the next game. Yeah, the formation, certainly the end of the game was a real fun end to that match for everyone apart from me, probably. So, into the next game, and this is the game you were looking forward to the most.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting just the way that the start. I think is it a 5 point gap between Grove and
Yes,
Otis or
it
four?
is a
One or the
5,
other, isn't
yeah,
it?
12-7.
So if Grove win this one, it really puts the bottom three right down there for the next few matches. But if Otis get a victory here, then it does make it real tight, doesn't it, between those two? Grove, we've seen that they've made some good subs earlier in the season and got the goals out of those, and they're playing this anchor formation, which has worked fairly well in some games and kept things fairly tight. So yeah, we'll see how this one turns out.
Big Mom the Otis from Tato, who also agrees about the the Losarakas opportunities there. Another one of Wolfosaurus. Looking forward to a performance from Otis. But yeah, I mean they're missing Saul Campbell, they're missing Steve Finnan, and Jermaine Defoe got himself into the team. He's also injured. I'm just looking through my list for squad numbers, by the way, just because I know that Grove did have squad numbers, and it's Vinyal, isn't it, without a number?
Yeah, Vinyal's coming in for his debut. Is Andy Cole missing through injury or suspension? Or is it just choice?
Just by
It's choice,
choice
isn't it?
here, yeah, and it'll be interesting to see. With Dario Silva, we've got Canu on the bench for the very first time this season. Or no, not on the bench for the first time this season, but with a chance of playing for the very first time. Any
It's
side
interesting
missing
to see him at
Finnan?
only 26, isn't it? Because I think he was 62 at this point in real life.
Yeah, in the under-17 championship, I believe he was that old.
Yeah, it would make sense. Yeah, that's just about right.
And the OTs for today, still going with the one substitute goalkeeper with the no substitute goalkeepers. We've got a couple of little changes from last time out. So John Newton, who was pretty decent in the team, to be honest, he was a good debutant. He's not making a run this time, and Michael Jackson will be going up that wing a little bit.
Yeah, Newton got an assist, didn't he, on his last game? So a decent performance from him. It'll be interesting to see how Jackson gets on down that right wing against Vignal on his debut. And yeah, hopefully they can have a performance as good as last time. It's interesting to see the sweeper formation in again because we've not seen that since the Danglers used it early in the season, have we?
Yes, the sweepers for OTs. Dangley's have had a sweeper. Chamon, indeed. And what was. There's another team that played a sweeper as well. I can't remember which one it was that played a sweeper in this division. I don't think it was even Trumpton. It was probably a team matching up against Dangley's in one match. But yeah, just looking at these changes as well. So Marchant had been dropped for Carl Carlson to make his debut as well in the team. It's nice to see some different players getting a match, and it'll be very interesting to see what happens here. We've got no Mendes, so Bent is in the side as well. Prediction?
I'm gonna go. I'm going to go 1-1. It's Otis played well last time, but Grove are quite tight in some games. So yeah, 1-1 I think. And let's just remember, I've not been right yet.
No, and I very rarely am in life. And so 3 minutes into this match, and there's been plenty of goings on from both teams. And since I said that, we've gone quiet.
Well, I said they kept it tight, but this is very tight, isn't it?
And then Mawson has had a chance after quite some time. I think it's just stuck between Jackson and Vignal on that side. And Sean Davis is gone. Now, there's the obvious substitute of bringing on Mr. Meyer, or whatever he's called. Lauren. What's his name?
Yeah, Romanit
But there is a Meyer, yeah, it's missing from his name. I was going to say it's missing from his name. There we are. Big Kid predicting 2-1 to the Otis. Yeah, it's it's coming in. We're about three weeks later than most people's Big Kid. If you are a few seconds behind, just wait for that bit of grey and just skip through it. So that changed before half time. I
Yeah,
thought
we
the
all
stream
thought the
had
stream had frozen,
frozen.
didn't we?
There was not a lot going on at any point there, and everybody is at 6s and 7s in this first half. Yeah.
Well, the game's there for the taking, isn't it? We can see one shot on target and nothing else really. I don't think anyone's passed it. I don't think we've seen anything in an attacking sense at all. So it'll be interesting to see if we have any changes that the game
We've got a
sees.
spare line at the bottom of the page that we haven't even filled an entire screen.
It summarises up, doesn't it? Where it says, "But Merson missed by a mile," and then there's an injury straight after. Which, I mean, they were probably the highlights on Match of the Day. This would be on the next week, never mind last.
22 minutes between anything. It's lovely. Paul Merson is looking tired, but I don't think that means anything particularly at this point.
He just needs a halftime refreshment. I think Merson is just a drink at halftime.
And I mean, Mike, if you want to make any changes, just let us know at this point. Daniel Bent is not injured,
Jameson's fairly tired as well, isn't he?
and Willie is just wearing himself out a little bit, but
Yeah, do you want to
nothing.
pull Willie off?
It's a hard decision. Let's see what comes of it. I mean, play the winning tackles. It's very clear they're winning tackles for both teams. What a strange, boring first half.
I think that's probably the worst first half of either Division 1 or Division 2. So we've had a call to leave as is from the Otis, and let's just hope this means leave the personnel as it is and up the performance for the second half.
Yes, will he keep it up for the second half, Steve? We'll find out. I think you're being generous when you say it's one of the worst performances of the league. It's probably one of the worst first halves in the game ever. But there's Daniel Bent. He gets the goal that opens up the scoring and opens up the match. So 1-0 to the OTs. Unsworth and Curtis are destroying their own team here. Paul Merson will come off, and I assume Patrick Berger would be the best option in that position.
I'd like to see Kanu in there, but Berger's probably. He scored off the bench, hasn't he, before? So
Yeah.
Berger's probably the sensible one.
And I don't think a third substitute would be the best thing to do with regard to the number of injuries that this team seems to get. But Kanu would have been a great candidate if we.
Well, he could come on if anyone else gets injured, can't he?
That's it.
We've seen their substitutes have scored before, so we're just waiting for goals from Lauren and Berger now.
And Mr. Savage, any changes for you? Bent and the Bent Willie looking like they are a bit tired.
A bit limp, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, Otis condition. Yeah, they are there. They are there. We're just those few seconds ahead of the game. And I think groundskeeper Willie would be a useful substitute to bring at this point. The first half in one of Wolfie's saves was truly shocking. And Bent for Goat. There we go. Bent for Goat. And Wolfie, did it fill a screen of text? That would be interesting. Bent for Goat. He questioned it. He questioned it, and now he's confirmed his own decision. Any further changes? Savo?
I was looking for Sean Gota there for a second. That would have been an interesting sub, but yeah.
Sean Goat there. Sean Gota would be good to call as well there. So, yeah, and Nick Baker. Kevin Kyle with his 62nd goal of the season with a month to play. That must take him to what, 937 goals or something, with just a bit more to go. I think you want to bring Kevin Kyle on for this Otis team, definitely. So half an hour left, and we're back to what we did in the first half. Twiddling my thumbs, doing a little celebrate. Oh, Patrick Berger's had a chance, nearly. And there's Dario Silva, and he's pulled it back to 1-1 with just a few minutes left. Anyone going to make the breakthrough at the end of the game? A late chance, maybe. Oh, is it the bar? And there, the prediction from Quinta Fortuna. 1-1 is the outcome.
Well, my predictions have been rock solid, haven't they, throughout? Just like Willie at the back for Otis. I mean, it was a shocking match. Let's be honest about it. I think no team really deserved to win. Otis had the better of the second half to start with, and then Grove came back into it as the subs, as they like to do. I suppose from the shots on goal, they probably deserved to score, even though it was only the one on target. So I think 1-all's probably fair on the balance of play as it panned out in the second half.
The second half was certainly a lot. I mean, the 77th minute was longer than the first half, I suppose. And this is where we look back to the first goal, of course. Carlson corner, headed in by Bent. Wonderful. And there it is. Newton took it off Lauren, but it went loose, and Dario Silva popped that one in. Good night, big kid. Thank you very much for coming on tonight.
Right, indeed.
And a quick check on the players. So, Smirty and Dario Silva and Paul Merson actually had a good game before coming off, which is quite a surprise. He's not had the best season.
No, but he's all right. Merson,
Yeah, I
as
do
good as
rate
you
him on
expect
here
for
sometimes.
34-year-old. He's better on the 93-94 database. But yeah, good to see Dario Silva get a goal. Lauren played fairly well. I think he played a part in the goal, although it's not credited as an assist.
Good night, Wolfie, by the
Um,
way.
it's yeah, just management from Otis, as Mike has mentioned. There, it's just a game management. Two late equalisers against them. They've dropped 4 points, but on the other hand, they've gained 2 points from where they previously were. So not the worst result in the world.
And I'd imagine D'Alessandro's put in more tackles there than he's done in the average season.
Yeah, I mean he's not exactly a hard man, is he, D'Alessandro? He's only about 5 foot tall. So yeah, he's done well in his performance, but not as well as Neil Aspin at the
Neil
back
Aspirin,
for
yeah.
Otis.
He's giving the attack a headache there rather than curing it. And Rocco also flying in with tackles, just without the success, really. But yeah, Otis, 2 games unbeaten and keeping themselves up above the Danglies.
Yeah, you always want to keep up yourself above the danglies, don't you? That's probably the best place. But yeah, as Mike's commented there as well as for the ratings as well, all on 6 and 7s to get a draw away to one of your closest rivals in the table isn't the worst result in the world there, because see the Grove players had performed better. We've got a few 8s in there, a few 7s too. So yeah, I think it's a decent point really.
Is that with a hint of sarcasm there, Steve? That the previous manager Otis knew more than everyone. Yes, yeah, fairly fairly factual, that statement there, isn't it, Steve? About that one. So yeah, Mike having a great start to his job, unbeaten for longer than many managers. Into the next match though, it is the Danglies, and they're up against Real E, who last time round, well, I don't know why I clicked on that, 4-0 against Stackington. They've kept the same system, which is working at the moment, and just made a couple of changes really. We've got David Dunn in the team. Hopefully those skills won't let him down in the middle of the pitch. And Luis Saha coming into the first team as well.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see Sahar in that attacking midfield zone. It's probably not his strongest place, but he's got some decent stats and he's a decent player. And really, like you said, a really good result last time, 4-0 away to a weak team. So it is an interesting lineup to circumvent the league rules really, with the three at the back, two playing wide and running in. But you can see from the strength of some of the players left out of the team. I mean, Veron's not in the squad today. I think Ashley Cole's not in the squad. There's plenty of talent in there, so you'd expect them to get a result really in this game.
Yeah, even though they've only named 4 subs. It's interesting to think about that. Only just a 4 subs named Viduka, Dyer, Hupia, and Bosnich. So yeah, not bad for them. And we'll have a little look at their opponents, Danglies, who have gone for something which I quite enjoy the look of, because it involves the sweeper formation, but Titi Camara placed up here, so he's got the free roll.
Yeah, Camara's. I mean, he's been a threat, hasn't he? Mostly to the opposition when he got sent off after 11 minutes in one of his early games. But he's in behind Crouch and Barros. That could be I fancy the Danglish to score in this one. I think it'll be a little bit closer than Really's last game. I'd maybe not Crouch because unless he gets a header, but I think Milan Barros. I'm going to say 3-2 really this game. Milan Barros and Titi Camero the goals for Danglish.
So we've got that Milan Barros with his no goals this season in these performances. Peter Crouch has played the least football of anyone who's played this season in about 2 minutes. Bit of questioning my accent. I thought Tato was questioning Steve's accent on the text commentary, the live chat. I wasn't sure. It might just be me talking nonsense, but I thought it was a comment to the chat. And yep, so the Danglies with I don't know, maybe the slightest chance, but maybe there's no chance for them. We'll find out. And Jan Anderson, there he is, Jan Anderson refereeing. Criminally underused Peter Crouch. Yes, I would say so if you give him 2 minutes in a special setup substitute.
Two Igor Biscan's on the field today as well, so that'll be interesting to see how they get on.
Oh yes, yeah, the one player that links the two teams together. And there's been chances, and it seems very much that really are on the front foot. But there's Peter Crouch going forward, and I thought the Danglies were going to have a chance. Lots of Danglies support on here. I don't know who's holding them at this point, but we're Titi Camara's been left in that free role, and he seems to be enjoying himself a little bit. He's heavily involved. Lee Hendry takes the yellow card. Crouch with another chance there. He's going close and really getting forward. As soon as the Danglies attack ends, they just come straight forward. Steve Wright saying they're missing Dean Saunders after 3 in his opening game. I think we're all missing Dean Saunders. And there's been plenty going on in this first half compared to last match. I think we could have had 18 of the previous first halves compared to this one. Any chances before half time? Bowie has hit the bar. And half time at 0-0. Dudek and Pellegrino performing very, very well so far.
Yeah, it's been even, hasn't it? It's good that it's action packed because after learning the origins of the name Castle Grayskull over the last couple of weeks or so, I think it's probably good to get off the screen as much as possible. But yeah, I mean, it does show that really have had the better of the play, but Danglies haven't been too far out of it. They look to have a decent show early on, so 0-0's an excellent result so far for the Danglies in considering the league positions of the two.
Yeah, and look at that for detail in that first half. There's so much, it makes us feel much better. The last game proved itself to be quite entertaining in the end. Danglies, we know they don't like to make substitutes unless forced, really, although there is a plan at 60 minutes for today. There is one going to happen. Camera, he seems to be a bit worn out. Is he injured? Yeah, he's got a potential thigh injury. We're just waiting for the cup to restart so he can play some of these, miss some of these 8 matches he's due to miss. Yeah, he certainly will not serve the full suspension. Yeah, Pellegrino.
The shocking average rating is on, isn't it? 5.57. Not the best.
Yeah, it's probably not the worst though. I'd imagine in the team. Pellegrino's clearly getting it for his work with his head.
Yeah, decent defensive performance, and we've seen really have had plenty of chances, haven't they? So he's the one doing the most clearances by look at it. 4 key headers is a good first half start for him. So if he can continue to marshal the defence, then Dudek's supporting him well in goal as well. So maybe a clean sheet's not out of the question.
No, Steve certainly suggesting it did look like it was going to be a really goal on the stroke of half time. I thought they could have been. For really, they're going to continue to 60 minutes as well. But Saha, at this point, I mean, there is no instruction to substitute Saha at this point, but he will be replaced at 60 rather than the pre-planned subs if he wasn't already going to be, because the condition would suggest it.
Is Vieira struggling as well? He's on 84.
I would imagine so. Vieira could be at 84 to play about 6 games. So we'll have a little look and see what happens at 60, but I think there isn't really a plan to replace Vieira at all, and I think they need him at this point. An injured Vieira is probably better than one of the 4 subs. I don't know. Let's have a look. Second half starts, and there's Titi Camara in his free roll from some way out. Get in the goal. 1-0 to the Danglies. David Dunn has equalised, but it's lost 1-0 to the Danglies at one point during this game. There's chances for both teams going forward. There's going to be some chat stuff going on in a second, isn't there? And yeah, it's 1-1. We are looking at a substitute now for Danglies, and I mean, TT Camara, there is no way that Woodrow would be wanting to take off TT Camara.
No, he's had a good start to the second half, hasn't he? It's so yeah. He's heard the criticism at half time, and he pulled one out of the bag, didn't he? They certainly did free those TTs, as has been suggested. So good start to the half for him. Luis
Danglies
Garcia on
pulling
for
out of the
Crouch.
bag, lovely. And yeah, so Luis Garcia, that was a plan for Luis Garcia to come on. So I mean, 17 finishing, it's not bad at all there. Didn't realise his stat was quite that high. Sheru for Zhao, well, there is no plan for anything else. It is just the Luis Garcia. You know what Wood is like. He doesn't make substitutes. He's like you, Steve. He doesn't make substitutes. And for really, they have the plan for 2 changes, but we will overrule one, I think, at this point, that it was due to be Van Nistelrooy coming off for Viduka. Now,
You
I mean,
could stick Van Nistelrooy into attacking mid
yeah,
rather than Zaha, can't you?
yeah, I think so. Van Nistelrooy's played there for Stackington. It's not something I wouldn't do. So let's put that on there. He is done. And the other change was due to be David Dunn off for Kieran Dyer. I mean, Patrick Vieira, yeah, Kieran Dyer would fit perfectly into that position, wouldn't he? And Vieira, if you lose him, then you do lose out. Would you take him off, or would you do the change of Dunn for Dyer?
Dunn's got a goal, hasn't he? Let's have a look at the player ratings, just if there's any difference in those. Yeah,
Dunn's
I
playing
think
better.
with an eight and a
No,
goal,
he's not
I
playing
think
better, is he? But yeah,
we'll keep Dunn on the pitch because he's the man in form, and Vieira's injured, isn't he? So
yeah. So he did score. Venezuela did score from attacking mid. That was probably was that in the 7-0 against the Danglies maybe? That he got one of those
no,
goals.
I'm not sure it was. He was an attacking mid in 99 2000, wasn't he? So he's got the capability of playing there.
Yeah, it's something like has he got 14 in that position, or is it just 8? I can't remember.
It might be 10, I think, something like that.
No, has he got a number in that position? Venezuela will be made captain of really, and with half an hour left, this could go either way. But I think there's Rielly's goal with Van Nistelrooy in the attacking midfield position, scoring the goal. Camara is certainly nursing this injury now. It has mentioned his injury in the text. And we have just 15 minutes to go. Really, definitely taking over this game. They've had 4 bookings though. They've had 4 bookings. Not great for discipline there. Dangley's trying to get back in the last minute. Barros, he's equalised. He's got the goal. And they're now chasing the game. But Van Nistelrooy makes it 3-2. And for another game of 3-2. That's 2 predictions in a row for Quinton.
And let's not forget the goal scorers in this one, TT Camara and Milan Barros. So I think that's a perfect prediction. I'm going to stick some lottery numbers on.
Did you predict that Ruud van Nistelrooy would score 2 going into attacking midfield?
That's not quite what I said, but I mean, I didn't not say it either. So
Look at the shots for the Danglies in the second half. They've had some, and then Real A have had 10 on target. I mean, yeah, you've got to be gutted for Wooder, but I mean, the quality of Real A is certainly better than the Danglies side. But
yeah,
that was a
it was a good
great game.
performance from the Danglies late on, and they really came into it in the second half. So good performance from them, but it's just that difference in quality, isn't it? Really, have had the chance to leave out people like Veron and Cole from the Matchday squad, and Danglies haven't had that luxury. They've managed to leave out Dean Saunders. So it does show the difference between the two, and they're unlucky that they played well. That it's I think there's some positivity going there, but yeah, it would be nice for a point for them.
Yeah, it would have been nice, wouldn't it? Looking at that, then Crouch out left towards Camera. Great ball. Elegant control from Tita Camera. Comes forward, and it did say he hit it from some way out. It rifling that dipping shot at goal. Wonderful. The equaliser. Well, it's just a rebound, which it doesn't know who it comes from or anything like that. Dunn has scored. Then the substitutes happen. And within a few minutes, Dyer, the substitute, has played in Van Nistelrooy, and he has beaten Dudek. Then we had Baros getting on the end of Salif. I mean, if we'd have taken Salif Jow off, Steve, then he'd never have played in Milan Barros, who lobbed the ball over Richard Wright. Lovely goal. A dramatic equaliser, but an even more dramatic winner. That Vidukasaurus has played in Van Nistelrooy, and he gets that goal. So, yeah, 66% TT Camera, who ended up, his thigh injury. I didn't know if he picked up another different injury or anything like that, but yeah, good performance. Just a shame they didn't get the point.
Yeah, I mean, Kamara progressed, didn't he? I think he was only on the 7 at 16 minutes, so it just showed he did well still on the pitch and got an 8. Biscam with an 8 and Barros with an 8 too. So going forward, the Kamara and Barros there have done really well. So Tanglis did start to show that threat. They just need to strengthen up a little bit in defence. Pellegrino dropped
Yeah, he
slightly in
did,
the
yeah.
second half, and McAteer and Staunton weren't at the best today. So if they can just tighten up a little bit more, then they're giving themselves chance in matches now.
Yes, it'd be interesting to see Danglies against a team close to them in the table. Steve, you're always worth listening to. Don't put yourself down. And Van Nistelrooy with a man of the match performance moving back into attacking mid. So Matt will be happy that his team have come out victorious in the end and that they've prevented, that's the word, Vieira from getting a more serious injury. Hasselbank also looks like he's taken a bit of a knock at the end. But yes, I mean, they've played well, but the stats don't necessarily show it.
No, the two subs did well, didn't they? Viduka and Dyer both with 8s. Richard Wright was on a 9 until that late Dangley's goal. So they've had to work hard for the victory. I mean, Lee Hendry 4 tackles out of 4 just shows how hard they've worked. So everyone's put a decent shift in, and to just edge it 3-2 with that fortunate late winner, it's I mean, it is heartbreak for Dangley's, but some positive signs for both teams really with the 3 points and Dangley's looking more potent in attack.
Good summary. On to the next game. Gondor versus Radaby FC. And Gondor head into this match unchanged today. So there is no Chris Coleman, despite him being fit again now. But this team, looking to their last match, they did all right. They scored 2 goals against Trumpton.
Yeah, well, we've seen Trumpton can be pushovers, can't we? Because even Stackington managed to beat them today. Yeah, it's a decent performance last time to get a couple of goals, and despite them being low down in the table, they can get goals, which is, I mean, the worrying thing really is the morale of the team, isn't it? Everyone's unhappy in that squad pretty much. Just need some goals from the forward line now. Sidibe and Thomas, they're perfectly capable. So if they can start to show some attacking threat today, then they might start to pick up some points.
Indeed. I mean, look at the players that aren't unhappy. It tends to be players that aren't in the squad. So I don't know. They're just happy to be bench warmers at this point. They just have
Probably don't want to be embarrassed, do they? So if they're not playing, they won't get associated with the team.
Maybe so. They're Gary Monk unhappy. I mean, what has it been sacked so too much? Not quite sure what it is, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they can pick up a second point this season. Who knows? Steve will be hoping not, and his team today, he goes into it with an unchanged lineup.
Yeah, I mean, there's some quality left out there, isn't there? Vieira and Finnan, I noticed as you flick to this one. I mean, I like the formation we've gone for there. That's a familiar formation to me, really, that one as well, with the 2 centre mids, 2 attacking mid. I think there's enough for Radaby to get the victory tonight. They've started to show some decent performances in the last couple of games, and they had a bit of a spell where they weren't creating many chances, scoring goals. But I fancy him to get at least 3 tonight. So I'm going to say 3-1 to Radaby.
It's potentially that sort of thing that could happen, isn't it? If 3 to Radaby, None to the Gondor side, maybe.
Good night to Dan.
Yeah, good night, Dan. Just saying that. Yeah, I mean, if you'd have given us a bit of a shout earlier on, we could have played your game earlier. We'll have to think about that next time. But yeah, thank you for coming on tonight. It's been good to have you here and joining in. So, Martin Ingwerson refereeing, and we've got both goalkeepers captaining the teams for this game. So, none of them going out second leading when they lead their teams out there. Anyway, what talking nonsense. It's a chance if Radaby don't score at least 4, Steve should resign in the morning. Why wait till the morning? We've got this, I think.
Well, it might have just turned morning by the time the game's finished, won't it, really?
Very true, very true. Oh, Paulo Sousa is coming off, and that will be a David Romo for attacking sort of players that have been here. Romo listening, checking, Araka's losing on the drive to. Oh, well, fair enough then, that's alright. I'm just struggling to be able to drag the thing over to click. At least
I'm pretty sure every time I'm on the commentary when Gondor play that Paulo Sousa goes off injured early on. I don't know what it is. It's he never seems to get a full game in.
He's it's better than who was it who had a 2-minute game? Flitcroft, wasn't it, for you and Rovers at one point? 2 minutes and he was off. And does the effect of Paulo Sousa going off open the match up for Radaby, or are Gondor going to get themselves 3 points in this match? Who knows? It's not the most entertaining so far, but Crespo makes it 1-0 with about 10 minutes to go in the first half. He needed that goal, did the Stig, and with just a couple of minutes left, we've got Mike Duff going off injured. And now, looking into it, you'd think
Tomasi.
Tomasi there, or potentially Lee Bowyer as a right back. There's plenty of things that could be done.
Might go to 3 at the back. Let's see what
Revert
Steve
into a 3.
decides.
I don't mind with tactical changes if the managers are here. Bowyer to come on, that is fine. Bowyer for Duff or Bowser. Only one letter away from Bowser, isn't he? Can get on with the match. The half-time whistle was eagerly awaited, and the players did nothing as a result. So Freestone having a great first half, and Maldini and Crespo are the other ones who are shining through at this point. Gondor have had a shot.
Yeah, they've not really shown too much going forward, have they? It's a blow for them with Sosa going off, but Romo's been fairly good in some of the games I've seen him in, so it's not the worst blow they could have. They've not been too bad to have 26% in
50-50.
the Radaby zone as well. Yeah, decent spell of possession.
And throwing the ball in, so Paulo Sousa goes off injured. I don't know what he's done to him, just throwing it at him, essentially. And then it was a save from Freestone from a Veron chance. And Crespo, there's a lot of loose balls being tapped in today. And Makaleli's doing his best going forward, but I don't think that Gondor are really doing anything to show that they're going to get back into this game.
No, I mean Cedric van der Hoen's had a shot, hasn't he? He's on the 6, but the ball's not really been with the forwards by the looks of it. They've had very little of the play, haven't they? Need to show a bit more in the second half if they're going to get into it. And like you say, Maldini's playing quite well at the back for Radaby, and Freestone's the best player for Gondor, so it shows where the ball's been.
3% for Duff. Foot injury, I was going to say it was dead leg before, but yeah, he must have smashed his entire foot in.
I think he's faking it so he can go off for Cheltenham's promotion celebrations this evening. So he's managed to get out early, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's a lovely dance type thing he was doing earlier on. It was very entertaining. Steve, you calling any changes, or are you going to go for sticking with what you've got? I would assume you're going to stick with what you got. Collins for Nicky Franco. Look at this, the Tinker Man coming forward. Unless you call him a little Tinker, it'd be better. Collins for Nicky Franco. There we go. Any more? Or are you going to keep a sub back for the second half when Toldo goes off? I would assume you're going to keep it as they are. I mean, Nesta and Maldini. Look at Maldini. Yeah, so many challenges and instant success with it. He's up to 2 for strength, which was a big improvement, isn't it? He's doubled that. Long arrow for Tomasi. Yeah, we'll do that for you. There we go.
That's the longest you can have, isn't it, to the corner? It's hypotenuse and all that.
So it is, yeah, certainly the longest possible arrow we could have done. And the second half kicks off, and it's all Gondor. But will they get back into the game? Who knows? We're going towards this is definitely a different look to the second half compared to what we thought it might be. And the subs, well, we requested them at 60, and they're still going on. But there we go. So Gondor, looking into it, there is, unless Sidibe's injured, there'll be nothing happening. I can't see anything going on with the players. Nope, they look like they're okay. So we're leaving things as they are for Gondor. And for Radisty, looking into it, Ronaldinho's on a 6 at the moment. The only outfield player that started the game that is. Arrow off to Massey. Yoshida won the longest arrow that way this time or something. It's, yeah, and any other changes after that didn't work.
How are the players playing? What's the ratings for him?
Yeah, it was just Ronaldinho 6, and then Bowyer obviously playing out of position and only just been on for 15 minutes. It's yeah, Maldini, Nesta, Veron, Crespo, all doing a good job for them. Yeah, Maldini is a standout player.
Yeah, he's doing well, isn't he? They're about to play better in defence to start the second half with Gondor coming into it. We've got Big Shagger on for Ronnie, so this will be interesting.
There we are.
Are we having a change in formation as well, or is Vieri staying there?
We shall see. Creeper. That's
Let's go with Creeper, yeah.
I like that name. I do like it. That would be more. What are the odds here? No, call him Creeper. It's much better. I actually like it. There we are. So
It's because he's a poacher, isn't he? He's a predator. That's why he's a creep.
So with only 26 minutes till the 90, we going to. I mean, will there be any more goals in this game? Surely there is. Oh, Vieri's had a couple of chances there. Freestone keeping them out. Sidibe's had a chance. And Gondor still, I mean, looking quite good on the attack. Vanderhoof's put it just off target. This is going to be an interesting last few minutes. Vanderhoon again. He's heavily involved as an attacking threat. From midfield to penalty. And Veron makes it 2-0. A harsh penalty. But they get the goal they needed and make it 2-0. Full time. A better second half for Gondor, but I think Ranelagh did deserve the win anyway, didn't they?
Yeah, I think so. It's Gondor did show some threat and bit of fight to try and get back into it, and yeah, like you say, it did say a harsh penalty, didn't it? But I think on the balance of play, it would have been harsh if anything other than the Rugby victory resulted from this one. Yeah, defence has been one of the best in the league, which is right. I mean, they didn't look threatened too much because it was marshalled by Nesta in the end, was man of the match, wasn't he, in front of Maldini? But yeah, decent second half performance. Some positive signs for Gondor, and good to see Rugby climbing the table.
Yep, just looking across the goals right at the end of the game. Is Rugby Steve certainly makes that prediction of them finishing 6th. Freestone clipping Collins in the area. Penalty looked harsh, but as we look through the replays, it probably was just about a penalty. And Veron popped that one in. Gondor looked like continuing their appalling run, and did. So 15 matches, no wins. And for Steve, you got 3 times as many wins as 1 win in your last 3 games. So yeah, infinitely better than Gondor for your winning record. Dennis Lawrence has done all right there. They've missed Chris Coleman, and Roger Freestone yet again performing very, very well.
Yeah, Freestone's decent, is he? And he was unlucky for the penalty as well by the looks of it.
It was a bad run of form, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's not been at his best, but Thomas needs to show a bit more in attack, doesn't he? He's not really doing an awful lot. Stibby at least was heavily involved in the passing and got an 8, whereas Thomas to have 14 starts or 15
To
starts
have
and
played
0
in
goals.
every league game this season and not scored. Sidibe's played just over half. Well, he's played a lot more than half his games. And yet, also not scored. That maybe they do need a change track. But Lee Trundle has got well one in the league, so that's something for them. Duff 3%. You'd have thought he might have recovered a little bit while sat off the pitch, but no. And
He's in a
Maldini
coma. I think that's why he's not recovering
from his bad foot. 3 clean sheets in a row. That's an interesting statistic. I didn't actually notice that. So, excellent for them. Nesta and Maldini absolutely dominating that defence, as you'd expect against Gondor, up against Thomas and Sidibe. But Crespo doing what he needs to do, and plenty of jumping in the air, which is lovely to see. And just checking, nobody made loads of dribbles. I was just wondering about why some of the ratings were a little higher there. You have the best players of the game. I should think so too, Steve. Oh, Dan has gone, and it's Los Aracas versus Dalgety Rangers. So Dalgety Rangers today have been forced into a few changes, and of their last game, beating the Danglies, they go with this side today.
It's decent lineup, isn't it? It's again, it's quality squad. There's plenty of excellent players who've been left out that make it into some of the teams in this league, and plenty of teams in Division 1. But yeah, I like the look of the team there. That midfield, particularly Aymar, Emerson, Riquelme, they'll create plenty of chances for others, and then the front three of Elber, Van Nistelrooy, and Nikiforenko. Always like to get a goal, aren't they? Real decent team.
No defensive midfielder makes Steve feel sick. Well, I think it's an interesting one, isn't it? Quite a few teams are playing without defensive mids at the moment. There's something a little bit different, and we shall see how they get on. Dalgety Rangers, of course, their substitute plans are pretty normal for them, and Uracas, who missing Alan Smith this time, and on their minimal changes that have been made, they see Patrick Kluivert going onto the bench and Shearer and Sigalko up front. Between them this season, Shearer's got no league goals. They're asking for Sigalko to do quite a job, and he's only got 4.
Yeah, I'm not sure you can quite say missing Alan Smith. I don't think that's ever happened before. No one's ever missed Alan Smith.
But he has got 4 and 4 in the league.
Didn't he get less than 50 league goals in his career or something? I think it's pretty poor, isn't it? I'm interested to see Agahau and Robert out of the squad. I would have liked to see Agahau in there. I think he makes a big difference. But again, they've got the plenty of Newcastle players in them. They've got Johnson, Woodgate, Dyer, Shearer, Boya. So they've got the 5 in there. It is a good concept, and I hope they get a result in this game because I like to see the fullbacks bombing on.
And I hope he doesn't remove his quarter. I think it's good to see that concept going on. We do enjoy it, and by the sound of it from Dan in the chat today, he sees some changes coming ahead in future matches. No DMC against the. What we're thinking from this one is, I suppose, Woodgate as a back 3. It might well work. He isn't. Well, I don't know. I think it was an intentional decision, wasn't it, of Smith to move a bit further back?
I think it's when his ankle turned the wrong way after blocking a free kick, wasn't it, that he decided to go a bit further back.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I remember exactly where I was at that point.
You're at the pool table in a pub.
That's exactly right, yeah, watching that match on a Saturday lunchtime. A great game that it was. And Risa, well done. So into this one, we have got predictions for you then, Quintonia.
I'm gonna go 2-1 Aracas in this one, but that's the Newcastle Buyers grouping in, and you'll notice I did get the last one wrong, so won't be surprised if Rangers win this one too.
Oh well, we shall see. It's been an early chance already for Dalgety Rangers. They look like they're on a mission. But then we've gone a bit quiet, a little bit. Oh, Van Nistelrooy is taken down by Lee Bowyer for a yellow card. And I think it's a question of when this first goal's going to come. It can't be,
Yeah,
no, no.
Costanzo's been busy, hasn't he? He's had plenty to do.
Yeah,
Post was it there again?
it was, and we've got the game end to end, but certainly the chances seem to be coming for Dalgety. If they're not football in a pub, yeah, what is that? It's a concept that we're not aware of any day anymore, are we? Yellow card for Emerson. Nesta's having a bit of a shocker for Dalgety, but he's probably had nothing to do. He's improving a little bit now. 35 minutes into this match, we've not got the opening goal. Oh, a chance there as Ian Hart played a great ball. He's having a good first half, Ian Hart. And we're almost there at half time. Still no breakthrough. Will there be one now? Ronaldinho getting heavily involved, but it's half time. And yeah, I think the defences have come out on top there.
Yeah, they have. It looks like Rangers have, yeah, and the stats prove it, don't they? They've had a lot of the chances and the shots that have just been wasteful in front of goal with only 3 out of 8 on target. But Costanzo's had plenty to do in goal for Aracas, and he's doing what he needs to do.
Yeah, I think it shows the commentary about the chances for Dalgety was definitely what we were seeing there. And yeah, Aracas are having the ball. We have seen plenty of black and white text, but certainly Dalgety look the more dangerous. We haven't had any goals. I'm looking for it. And into the Los Aracas stats for the first half, they've had to be on their guard.
Yeah, I mean, we've. I think the only player from them really was superb play until the finish, wasn't it? That's borne out by that one shot off target for Sigalko. No one's really impressing too much other than Ian Hart, who's done what he has to do in defence, and Costanzo. Boyer's picked up that yellow card. He'll have to be a little bit careful going into the second half, and like to see a bit more from the front pairing.
It would be certainly useful if they could get themselves a little bit more involved, but they're not prolific scorers as we saw before the game. Whereas you look at Van Nistelrooy for Dalgety, and he's got 10 in 10, so we'd be expecting him to certainly be finding the target at some point. We've got nobody on 5 or below at this point, so Dalgety will continue, but we will be watching Riquelme a little bit into that second half. They have only had 4 players who've put in any tackles.
Yeah, I suppose it just shows how much of the ball they've had in comparison to Aracas, doesn't it? But Aracas made the final of the cup, didn't they? With a few decent performances, so
Yeah, it was a
still
good
could
good
go either
cup
way at the
game.
moment.
It was a really good cup match, that one. It was 5-4 on aggregate. It was yeah, good to see two teams that are not up at the top of the league in there, but of course most of the teams at the top of the league didn't even enter the cup. So I think that's how I got to the semi-final. We've had another chance for Dalgety straight away into the second half, and another one. Van Nistelrooy and Albert getting themselves left foot on the ball and going for it. Oh, and Nikiforenko makes it 1-0. It was coming. You gotta say, they must have got 12 shots by now. And for Los Aracas, will there be any subs? There won't at this point. I don't know why I'm even looking, but they're doing quite well defensively to say they are 1-0 down. They've been facing an absolute barrage, haven't they?
Yeah, the Rangers have had the majority of the play. Just as I say, they just need to show a bit more going forward. Now we've seen in a couple of these games tonight that the last half hour they've been a bit more open. So hopefully this will be something similar.
Yeah, and we will do a little bit of slight overruling of the substitutes that were suggested here of the 6s or belows. I mean, these are all 7s and they are injured. So I suppose I think we should leave Riquelme on because it's not a take off your 7s, but Emerson is both injured and booked. And so if we take him off for Barry Ferguson, that'll be a good sub there. And then we will make the other change. There's nobody to bring on though for Ashley Cole, unless you shove Okoronkwo, of course.
Oh yeah, Karan,
Yeah,
he can play
completely
left back.
missed him there. Because he will come on. So we'll leave Nestor on at the centre back there and bring off Ashley Cole. Okay, 30 minutes to go. Still 1-0, but you'd expect more goals, surely. Aracas need to actually get a shot to score a goal. Oh, there it is. Alan Shearer has equalised. And then El Bear has had a chance down the other end. This now is turning. That Iraqis are trying to come forward much, much more. But Van Nistelrooy gets his customary goal. That is 11 and 11 for him in the league this season. And they're back in front with 10 minutes left. Alkmaar having a chance. Costanzo is keeping shot after shot out here. And with just a couple of minutes left, Iraq's players have performed very, very well, but they have been beaten.
Yeah, but better showing that last half hour from, wasn't it? That they seem to have a bit more going forward, and we see now Ronaldinho, Shearer, and Dyer all on eights, as well as the defensive players. I think it's unlucky really to lose in the end. They held out fairly well early on, but don't think we can argue that Rangers deserve the victory with that many shots on target. They took the game to Iraqis, didn't they? But they'd come into it that last half hour again. So yeah, there's some positive signs. It's possibly just a case of having a bit of a switch of formation for Iraqis, maybe taking one of those forwards away and making them a bit more solid in either adding a defensive mid to counteract the attacking mid to the opposition.
Potentially, or maybe the old Tato Mourinho tactic of just putting one of a little run onto one of your centre backs, that middle centre back, and giving him a bit more of a free kind of thing. Ronnie Johnson would be able to do something like that, I think, with his defensive mid capabilities. The goals then. So Costanzo has made a save and Nicky Franco's tapped it in. We're so used to tap-ins at the moment. Then Sigalko's crossing and shit. I mean, Sigalko making an assist. That's quite a collector's item, I'd say.
He picks up a fair few. He's not got very good teamwork, but I think he's one of the highest assisters in the league in the Germany league we had.
Oh, actually, yeah, you're right. Yeah, he did get what about much more than he usually would, despite the fact he scored 705 goals, whatever, in one of the seasons. And yeah, so it's a loose ball. Woodgate taking it off Barry Ferguson, but it arrives at the feet of Van Nistelrooy. So Woodgate did what he could, and you can see that that apart from Riquelme, the whole team have performed pretty well.
Yeah, they've done all right. Say it just needs a slight tweak, I think, doesn't it, to the lineups that they had, but not a bad performance in the end. They just need to start showing it from the first whistle rather than waiting till 60 minutes before they start to come forward. But they are a decent team, and obviously they've got the hallmarks of a great squad with a lot of Newcastle players in there. But yeah, Rangers deserve the victory on this occasion. But again, it's some positive signs for the lower team in the table.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Baracas are in the bottom half at the moment, I'd say after this round, but they're not that bad a team. Anything can happen. That middle of the table is pretty close, isn't it? As we know, but wins for Radaby and Stackington and 76ers as well would suggest that gap is starting to possibly open up a little bit. And yeah, good performance for Dargetti, Van Nistelrooy with his goal. Plenty of passes though. He's become much more of a team player for this side, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. He's a creative man as well as getting the goals as well. But I think if you compare player for player, then they've got a lot more ability, haven't they, than the opposition.
Yes.
So to only squeeze out a 2-1 isn't a bad result for Rackers. But yeah, again, look, ratings wise, they've had a few decent performances. Van Nistelrooy man of the match, Nicky Forenko, Samuel Zanetti, but other than that, no one's really turned up to the party. So if Rangers have a really good performance where everyone plays well, they could have blown them away.
And I believe we've only got one game left, and it would be the league leaders. So here we go. We've got Jim Phillips under huge pressure from his board. As we just take a look at that board confidence, despite the club's healthy financial state, they are extremely unhappy. And there's no things about we may have to start listening. It's just a basic one sentence statement about them. I think it's slightly harsh, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're doing bad. What the sixth are they? The
Yeah,
start something
six
like that.
before
So
kick-off. Yeah.
it's not bad, is it? I mean, they've got plenty of quality in there. There's people like Roy Keane, John Terry, who's not in the match day squad. So they've got plenty of people with ability. I think. I mean. it's probably that they're unhappy that Chris Kirkland's in goal out of all the keepers in the world they could have chosen.
Well, Kirkland has come in and done a reasonable job, but it's interesting that Richard Wright has been the substitute goalkeeper for every match this season. Even when Van der Sar is now out, that Kirkland has come in and bypassed Richard Wright. But yeah, it is a decent team. We still get to see Juninho making a start, and I think he could add something to the team maybe. Julio Arca has made a couple of starts, and the sort of Agat Puyol rotation on this team seems to have stopped, and I think Agat has been playing better.
Yeah, I mean, I like this. There's a few different players in this squad, isn't there? And I say
Yeah,
keeper wise, Kirkland's decent after a couple of seasons in the game, but Kirkland, Van der Sar, and Wright is we haven't got too many of those in the league, have we? So it's nice to see some different people in there. And I say I don't think six is bad at all. And let's hope they can get a result tonight just to help the manager's position.
to help the manager's position, but also to really enhance that title battle. Now, as running the league, obviously, I can't say I hope that something happens like that, but it'd be good for the neutrals, wouldn't it? And just checking out the Dublin Blues squad list as well, because I know that they've got squad numbers, and Kiotis is due on today and making his debut. He's replacing Buffon.
All right, yeah, I mean it's an interesting one, isn't it? I know the result last game against the Otis wasn't their best performance they've had, but I probably wouldn't pin the blame on Buffon as such. But it's nice to see Kiotis get a run out. He's a decent keeper, isn't he? I've got him in my squad. But again, there's plenty of quality throughout here, and we've got some of the top ability players, haven't they? And again, leaving out players of good quality, and Joe Cole's left out for both teams.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, isn't it? Seeing me replace there. Yeah, Buffon got a 7 last game in that draw, and Frey has been replaced off the bench completely. So Kiotis sidesteps them all and goes straight into that team. No place for Saeed today. Duff, Hofford, Colin. There's a lot of talent in this squad, and
I
that's why
think I
they are
think all
top.
those that are left out would make my first team. And when I say I think, I know without doubt they'd all make my first team just in terms of ability and things there. I mean, Agahauer, Cole, Van Bommel, Sigalko, they're all excellent players, aren't they? So if you can afford to leave those out, that's why you're top of the league on however many points I've got.
On a scale of doubt, how much shadow would there be about that?
Oh, it's without a single shadow of doubt. Without a
Right.
shadow of doubt.
Yeah, that's nice to know. Summarising that one, Mike Savage there agreeing that well, none of these would make your team, Mike, because none of them are intrinsic, so you're not allowed them. So it'd be interesting to see Mike's concept for next season. I know basic ideas that he's got going on, but I don't know any of the players that will be involved and whether we'll be sticking with that team or not. So it'd be interesting to see that one.
It'd be
Predictions for
interesting
this
to see
one.
if there's a few changes. What they're from some. I know I'd like to change mine, and I think you're going to change yours, aren't you? So it'll be
Yeah,
interesting to see if anyone decides to think actually I'm going to bin off these top ability players and just try something a bit different.
Tato, of course, like Duff. He's an intrinsic kind of player. You're absolutely right, and it's a good little spot there. But we just sort of know him as world class player, don't we? These days, just forget at that. And yeah, I think Steve will be changing his squad next season to all players who like Magnus. I think that'll be the team maybe for next season. So
Well, it'll
let's.
be interesting. Must have apples to quarry then
Oh,
from
that'll
my
be
team.
good. His Duff is Duff. Duff beer for me. Duff beer for you. Let's see if anything can happen in this game to liven up this league table.
I'm going to say 2-1 round here, by the way.
Oh yeah, I forgot to ask you what your prediction was. Of course, there's the 1-0 to round here, and the Blues slightly feeling a little bit blue at the moment. As Roundhay doing their best for Jim Phillips, trying to get him to keep his job. Of course, if he gets sacked, he's not going to be sacked. It's 1-1. David Collins has equalised, and immediately there we are. Henri 2-1. So you want it all to stop now, but there's still an hour to go.
Oh, keep them coming. It's a good half so far.
It's a great first half for Mikiotis. His debut is not going as he planned, I assume. I don't think he'd wanted to let in 2 goals and be performing that badly. Has
If
he
he did
made a
plan this, it
save?
needs to be investigated, doesn't it? It's not ideal.
Yeah, has he made a save? I'm not sure. He's been one
Don't
point
remember
over
one.
from Henri. And then Ronaldinho misses a target as well. It's certainly been a half round, eh?
Yeah, started off very well, didn't they? And it showed a bit of resilience as well when Blues came back into it. They got the goal again, and Henri in particular with 2 goals has played very well. And like you say, Kiotis hasn't managed to make a save as yet, so he's got some warming up to do, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, to say that his only action in this league so far appears to have been to pick the ball out of his net a couple of times and do a few little passes. Yeah, nothing going on in terms of getting his hand on the ball while the pitch is going, while the game is in play. The 2 goals for Roundhay and the one for Blues, so it's well again a lot of players today are gathering up loose balls from some decent tackles, and Henri profits from that one. Then
Well, I think on that the goal of the day so far has to be Titi Camara from Dangley. So unless we get a goal in this second half, that'll be the goal of the day.
well, yeah, if that's not the goal of the day, then it's Milan Barros, isn't it? They're the best two we've had so far, both in the same half from the same team. Dyer, so it's nice here. Zambrotta to Dyer, and Dyer just moves it along very very quickly from that to pass a ball that he's controlled from a chip in one move is lovely, and Collins puts that one in. And then Riquelme has done plenty of work to go past Samuel and West and laid it on a plate for Thierry Henry. So that's a great goal and some good work from Riquelme. And Riquelme hasn't had the best day for other sides, I guess.
No, he's saved his performances for last, hasn't he? He's started off fairly well here, but he's yeah, like you say, he's had a few sixes, hasn't he, and not really got involved too much. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Vieira performs on his yellow cards because he is prone to picking up a red, isn't he? So if he can maintain his discipline and keep things going, then he's set up nicely, isn't it, for the start of the second half? 2-1 round here.
Yes, I'll just bring up Jim's substitutes here. He's got 60-minute changes going on, nothing suggested for half time otherwise. Still very fit. All the players in both teams are 90% plus. And for the Blues, who go into the half time losing for what must be one of the very first times this season, it's been quiet for them.
Yeah, not really done a lot at all. As the Collins is the only one who can hold his head high after that first half. I suppose Dye's got an assist, hasn't he? But still only a 7 from the rest of the team is maximum. And I mean, if I were the Blues manager, I'd be pulling Kiotis off at half time and asking him to do better and sticking Buffon in goal.
Well, their subs are bad or tired at 60, so if he's still on a 5, he may well be coming off on the hour mark. And yeah, I think you're right. I think I'd be sort of considering that at half time. So we're having a look and see if they can get back into this game. Otis have rattled the Blues. I think they have. I do think they have, but
Looks that way, doesn't it?
they are, at this position in the season, they were predicted to be, well, based on the first half of the season, you'd have had them to win the league, but it's just slowed down that little bit. So, just checking, there's nobody who's got any injuries of sorts. So, let's look into the subs at a 6 or lower or injury. Alright, so yeah, 6 or lower. That's a Gat and Campbell to come off, isn't it?
Yeah, I've just checked. Perez is the one with his lowest
He's got
fitness,
the
but
13
I
stamina, hasn't
think
he?
yeah, I
So
was
he
going to say
might
I think it's just
14
low
now.
stamina, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
14. Well, I'm going to follow the instructions to make these changes here. So,
Carragher, Elguera.
yeah. I mean, it does. There's nothing else that it says about things here. Subs at 60 for 6 or lower or injury. Yeah. So I get there. Jamie Carragher.
Carragher fullback, yeah, and Elguera centre back, I think.
Yeah. I mean, the defence. I suppose they are being attacked a bit more, and if you're not performing that well, you do need to come off. Yeah, Kiotis is going to come off, and Lucio is going to come off, and will there be another change as well? I think that, in terms of looking at this, they've got 3 players who are Collins is lacking practice. Totti is not injured. And Zeriberto is not injured, so it'll be the 2 subs at this point here, bad or tired at 60. So Kiotis and Lucio.
Yeah, that matches the brief, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. And we see Okoronkwo being brought on as a substitute again. So both teams making defensive substitutes now. So we'll see what happens. And no attacking changes there. I mean, Van Nistelrooy is 6 bad?
No, it's not bad, is it? It's just average, isn't it? I suppose.
Yeah, it doesn't. There's no specific rating. It's just bad or
Yeah,
tired.
I suppose with 2 subs made, it's one of them's a keeper, isn't it? So if the keeper's off, there's nothing else they can do. So
Yeah.
I'll let it fall on your head if you want to make a change for him. But if it's not being suggested, then I'd keep things as they are.
Usually we'd make 2 substitutes. It doesn't say
Yeah,
who's
if
why.
he's injured,
So
it's different, isn't it? But
yeah, let's give the teams chances of having 11 men on the pitch at all times, barring any red cards, which we haven't had any red cards today, I don't think, have we?
don't curse it.
Don't Mark curse it. There's a goal, and it's Jamie Carragher off the
Oh, we didn't
bench.
see that one coming.
No, we did not. I mean, if goodness didn't score an own goal, but yeah, Jamie Carragher with the goal.
He
And
scored on his debut, didn't he, for Liverpool? I think so.
did he?
Didn't get many after.
No, I think he ended up with a very, very negative total, didn't he, for Liverpool, I think, in the end. 3-1s around here. Now that's got to get the board cheering a little bit. And yeah, we're looking into that. Blues certainly having more chances, but round here continued by scoring every single shot on target that they had.
Yeah, Blues can't be happy, and I think maybe the Otis did rattle them from last week because it was an excellent performance from Ramsey in terms of converting the shots on target to goals. But I mean, they will be a little bit disappointed they've been quite wasteful. But Carragher seems to have scored a wonderful goal there.
Yeah, I mean, let's have a look at this. So it's Ashley Cole. Was he playing for round here? So this is Ashley Cole, yeah, for round here. So let's have a look at where this has happened then. So has all this been one big move? Cole to Vieira, Vieira back to Cole, to Ronaldinho, to Riquelme, to Henri, to Carragher, who takes it round west, and Okoronkwo, and then smashes it in. I mean, is that no goal of the day?
That's goal of the day. Yeah, Carragher obviously saw the Scousers of the Danglies had got one and thought he could do better, and he
What a
has.
goal! What a goal that was! Yeah, it's outstanding team play, and for a team that hasn't passed the ball all that much during the game, that they've done that and scored a quality goal for a player who, yeah, we didn't expect he would get it. 12 for finishing. 12.
I mean, it's his second sub appearance, isn't it? He scored an absolute belter, and he's only got 7, so he's going to feel a little hard done by for that last half hour. But good performances from Henri in particular, and from the rest of the team as well. If you look at Blues' stats there, Collins has an 8, but other than that, no one else has really turned up. So it's definitely
Seven.
the right result for Roundhay to have the victory. And yeah, I wouldn't have had Buffon in the 7 for conceding the only shot he faced.
Yeah, he made a few passes. He's won 2 tackles. Oh, he's done a bit more. Kiotis has done nothing, and Buffon's at least smothered a few attacks, I guess, in one way. Walter Santos tried his best. I think the yellow card has held back his rating. And yeah, just the Blues lose. So the results there are all, well, apart from Gondor not scoring, everyone's at 1s, 2s, and 3s. So
You can
quite
see
the
Rangers have gone top, haven't they?
little mix. And yes, let's get straight into that league table. That we see that now 2 points clear, Dalgety Rangers, who I'm quite glad I've played them twice already this season. So yeah, they've 2 points clear. Their goal difference is looking very, very solid, and they have a 6 point cushion over third place, fourth place, who are now Real E, who move ahead of Atletico Newell's. Roundhay have gone. I mean, look at that. They're only 5 points off promotion at this stage, and then in the bottom, I'm still going to call it the bottom half. I'm going to put Stackington in the bottom half with these because that's what it looks like. Roundhay, so Stackington 2 points clear of Ranabay, Wasserackers, and the 76ers. That is if Tato's Division 1B comes into things, this is Division 2B between those four sides. And then Grove, 5 points clear of OTs, who are 5 points clear of Dangley's, who have a 2 point gap still over Gondor. Anything surprising now?
Well, I wouldn't say surprised, but that last late goal for Really did make a huge difference, didn't it, in terms of the table there? It's moved them up an extra place, but got them an extra couple of points, and it's kept Danglers a little bit further from Otis as well, hasn't it?
That
But yeah,
10 point gap to safety if there was a relegation zone.
I don't see them being able to catch up that far really. Otis have shown some good spirit in the last couple of games, so be interesting to see how they got on over the next few weeks if they can build on that momentum and reel Grove in a little bit. But Radaby's win, excellent performance, and again, yeah, like you said, in terms of defensive performance, only 18 goals conceded. They do keep it tight, so um, I fancy them to put in a bit of an effort to catch the top six, but you can't look further than the teams in the top three for winning the league. One of them.
Yeah, I think they are the strongest sides, and I think Atleti, I think they're stronger than Really at this stage of the season. It doesn't show it in the table, but I think if any one of the next two teams does break it, it would be Atleti. And let's have a look at the fixtures for next time, which are going to be played in, well, not this weekend, but the weekend after is when the next round of fixtures is going to be. And you can see that we've got bottom versus top in amongst the fixtures there.
Yeah, so you'd expect Rangers to extend the lead a little bit, wouldn't you? From there, Stackington versus Athletic will be interesting to see how that pans out, and likewise Radaby in good form at home to Blues, who aren't in such good form, and Blues conceded, I think, is it 33% of the rest of the season's goals had conceded in that last game, so they've only conceded 12 now, so it's probably a 0-0 with the two decent defences in there, but if Radaby get a win, it does blow it wide open at the top. And Araka 76 is 9th and 10th is an interesting
The
one.
cup final rerun, yeah. I think in terms of this is one of my favourite looking fixture lists that we've had of the whole season so far. I think every game's got something interesting about it. Not necessarily anything riding on some of them, but some really interesting matches. Team of the week is decided. Roger Freestone gets in there. Yeah, no use guessing Trumpton's formation. You're absolutely right, Mike. 3 players from Stackington in the starting lineup as well. Balmer Milevsky, who hasn't had the best season so far, but playing well at centre back, and Didier Gat. So he got booked and subbed, didn't he, Milevsky?
Yes, he did. Yeah, so just something at the right time, really. And Freestone's got in there despite conceding a late penalty and playing for a team that's not got any wins as yet. So it's it's an interesting lineup. The strikers Del Piero and Creepo both got on the score sheet, didn't they?
Oh yes,
And
of
Rui
course, yeah.
Costa had an excellent game in midfield for 76ers. So I think it's probably fair. A lot of these players.
We won't check the scores and things. By the time the next round comes up, we'll be able to see the scores and things on screen. Just one thing to do before heading into the next round of games. I forgot to do this previously, so I'm going to do this now. And we can see here, we're going to go into the OT squad, which this Mike Savage is just a nickname. We are going to retire as manager here, which I think I need to go into even. It might not let me sack him right to do this right now. So retire and to add a manager of Mike Savage, who can now come in with a clean bill of health. I think I'm going to get from Swedish. Take over the OTs. It might say they're in a match. No, they're fine. And he now takes over with a completely clean reputation, and the squad are now happy again. So that's something that can move forward with them. And I'll promote and I'll relegate Löfgren and promote the other players into the squad to do that. So yeah, a complete clean bill of health now for Mike Savage as manager of the Old Kings. And that is the end of the show. So thank you very much, Quinton.
Thank you very much.
And thank you to everyone who's been in the chat. We'll see you again later. And remember that there are no games this weekend for either division. We'll be back next week with Division 1's round in midweek. Thank you and good night.
Nice all.